Hi, this week I have been reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. First published in 1986, I'm just checking. You can buy your own copy for a recommended retail price of £8.99. I will pop a link below to where you can buy a copy from. The main character of The Handmaid's Tale is Offred. She's a handmaiden. Offred lives in the Republic of Gilead. She's got no money, she's got no books, she's got no pens, she's got none of her own clothes. She has basically got nothing but her dignity. But actually, she doesn't have that either. Once a week, Offred has to lie on her back, think of England or Gilead I suppose, and lay there in the grip of Serena Joy, her mistress, whilst the Commander Waterford, has sex with her in the hopes that she'll produce a baby. If she does become impregnated, she will at least get 9 months off, so it is what she's hoping for. If you can't produce a baby, chances are you'll be shipped off to the colonies anyway. Gilead is a very different place to the world that Offred, or June as we find out her real name, knew. Her husband and her child have been lost. She assumes that they are dead. She doesn't know what happened to them. She's got no idea. And her best friend is missing. She doesn't know where her best friend is either, Moira. Even shop signs, the shop signs are just pictures now. Women are literally allowed to read nothing. They have no words, nothing. Offred quite quickly into the book finds an ally called Offwarren, I'm never really sure how you say it, who whispers her real name to Offred before alluding to Offred that she's sort of part of an alliance or a rebellion. Not long after this, Offred encounters a new Offwarren. She's been replaced, and in the book we don't find out what happens to her. Under the severe tutelage of Aunt Lydia, who is the handmaiden's sort of keeper, guardian, teacher, the handmaidens learn to be meek, they learn to be silent, and they learn to fulfill their baby carrying destiny. Aunt Lydia is terrifying, and she teaches in a really calm but very brutal way. She's a really frightening character. We also learn about Moira. Moira was Offred or June's friend before Gilead. They were best friends. She escapes, and we don't find out until a lot later in the book what her fate was. And really, is it any better? I don't think so. The Handmaid's Tale ends with Offred or June stepping up into the darkness of Van. We can only guess what happens to her. We've got no idea in the book. That's where it ends. We don't know what happened to her. And you're left to guess whether she'll be sent to the colonies to die a long, painful and slow death digging the radioactive wasteland up. Or maybe she'll be ripped apart or stoned by her fellow handmaidens, as we see that's a form of punishment at one point in the book. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood is a terrifying glimpse at a dystopian future. Women are nothing. Women are there to create babies, and if they can't do that, then they're less than nothing. Even the sort of commander's wife, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing. I struggled a bit with the book. Margaret Atwood doesn't seem to trust speech marks, quotation marks, so it's really hard to distinguish between what's narrative and what's dialogue, so it was a little hard to follow at times. It's 384 pages long, which is a relatively short read for me. I finished it in a couple of nights. The story itself is bleak, and Offred shines through. Her resilience and her rebellion shines through, and it's glorious. This is a really frightening future, and it has been beautifully imagined by Margaret Atwood. And when you watch the news, it's really not hard to see that this future might not be that far away. And it's not hard to imagine that future at all. That's the frightening thing. And this was written, you know, over 30 years ago. The story really stays with you after you finish the book, which is nice. It's nice to think about. I don't mean nice, but it stays with you, and that's really good. That's really good in a book. My only real issue is I watched the TV show before I read the book. The TV show series 2 has recently finished, and oh, it's so good. And I kept waiting for things that had happened in the TV show to happen in the book. The TV show, for the entire 2 seasons, every episode made the hairs on the back of my arm stand up. I was tense and uncomfortable the entire time I watched it. And the book didn't capture that. The book didn't grip me and catch in the back of my throat quite as much as the TV show did. And that's not a fault of the book. That's an outstanding TV show, really. So that's all glory to the TV show. The characters are really well written. They're really well described, so you can really picture them. That's really good. All in all, it was a really good book. It's really well written. It's really well imagined by the author. I will say that if you struggle to sort of keep to books, if you struggle to keep reading, the writing in this particular copy, which is published by Vintage Books, it's quite small. The writing is quite small, and there's a lot of text on the pages. It's very tiny writing, so it might be a little tricky to digest for some people. All in all, I would give it 3.5 stars out of 5. It will be going back on my shelf, and I think I will definitely be reading it again in the future. In the meantime, if you have read The Handmaid's Tale, get in touch below. Let me know what you thought of it. If you're planning on reading it, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. What are you reading at the moment? Let me know below. I'd love to hear from you. If you liked this video, you can find me on Goodreads to get all the up-to-date information of what I'm reading at the moment. I'll pop the link below. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. I'd love for you to subscribe to keep up to date with all my book related knowledge. Keep your eye out for my next book review, which will be about Sophie Hannah's latest Agatha Christie Poirot book, which I've just finished the other night and was really good. I really enjoyed that, so look out for my review of that coming soon. As always, thanks for listening. That was my review of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.